This is the introduction to a series of videos in which I intend to present to you my theories about the origins of our planet's geography. According to organic geology, our planet's crust is made up of the scattered remains of petrified gigantic creatures such as dragons, snakes, reptiles, birds, and other unknown creatures that once roamed the Earth, and now form the Earth's crust and its geographical features. They shape our planet's continents, islands, mountains, rivers, caves, and lakes. Since most of these gigantic beings died in a series of cataclysms millions of years ago, the remains are not well preserved and have succumbed to the forces of erosion. Their petrified carcasses are often found piled up on top of and next to each other, which make them sometimes hard to distinguish, especially in places with a lot of vegetation. In the areas where massive destruction took place, we find a morass of body parts revealing the creature's tissues and organs, which have transformed into precious minerals and metals. Although the whole theory might at first seem too far-fetched for you, I'd like you to regard it with the eyes of a child, leaving mainstream scientific dogmas aside. You will discover a new way of looking at our planet, and a whole new world will open up in front of you. In the beginning of time, snakes and dragons ruled the earth. But they were not alone. There were also all kinds of reptiles and beautiful long-tailed birds in their kingdom. They were beings of gigantic proportions and lived in a time when the Earth's atmospheric conditions were very different from today. Most of these creatures died, following a massive electric plasma discharge produced by an approaching planetary body that wreaked havoc on the Earth. This near collision caused worldwide earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and a global world flood which wiped most creatures off the face of the Earth. Chaos and destruction reigned everywhere. All the Earth's surface was covered in mud. The creatures that managed to endure the electric shock were unable to move and free themselves from the mud, so they remained stuck until they died. Only the smallest ones survived by climbing on top of the bigger ones, seeking shelter and feeding off their carcasses to be able to remain alive in a dramatically altered new environment. After some time, the waters eventually receded, which brought to light the lying corpses of these gigantic creatures scattered around every corner of the Earth. However, their corpses didn't decay. As a result of both receiving a massive electric shock and being buried in the mud, they rapidly petrified. With the passage of time, this stone material hardened and formed our planet's crust and geographical features. As for the creatures that managed to survive the global catastrophe, they had to adapt to new living conditions, and they gradually diminished in size. The last creatures have become infinitely smaller in the end of the days. And sadly, the ones that remained alive were mercilessly exterminated by mankind.